Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to, I don't know if this is a podcast. It's a live stream. We've been calling it a podcast too, but it's a live stream. The worst Barney episode, part 5. Working on season 4 this time. Thank you, everybody, for if you've been tuning in every 2 weeks however frequently we do this. Thank you. Thanks for supporting this. Thanks for jumping in the comments and like having a conversation with us, adding your opinions in, correcting us on our facts when we're wrong, all those different things. Thanks for being here. We really appreciate you. I'm going to bring in our hosts for us today. It's just back to the four hosts. So first up, we have Emmy with her heart shades that you said is from London, right?
Yes, from Mamma Mia the Party.
Welcome. This is a glasses stream that Kaylin started off, so now we all have glasses on today. Welcome in, Emmy. And then we also have, of course, Hedge, the wonderful Hedge.
ケロンさん、エミさん、元気ですか？今回、このライブ、僕たちのいかがで、バーニー&フレンズシーズン4から、一番最悪エピソードを決めてみます。みんなお楽しみにいただければいいなと思います。頑張りたいと思います。That's for all of our Japanese viewers, which is none of them.
Took the word right out of my mouth. I was going to say all of that next.
Yeah, I read your script. I just wanted to.
Thank you.
I wanted to say it.
All right, and then also we have Terrific Tributes. What's up, man? Welcome.
Were you speaking that Chinese?
It was Spanish, actually. Thank you for being.
Shows how much you know about culture.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? How are you guys doing?
Man, so make sure when you go to the beach, wear some sunscreen. My whole arm is covered with those like sun bumps, I guess you would say.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Got a sunburn going on.
Yeah.
Black people aren't supposed to wear sunscreen.
Well,
Because all the people have no idea that black people also have skin.
It is hot. Still, it is.
Dude, it's been
really
crazy.
hot.
Dude, like
Crazy.
one day last week was like it broke the record for like the world's hottest day ever.
Really?
Yeah, it's gross.
Gross.
Yeah. They said that was Sunday, and then Monday broke that record. So like it's been like they just been competing with each other.
It's literally, I'll take a shower, deodorant and everything. I'll get in my car to go to work, and
You immediately start sweating.
Yeah, pressing my back
Instantly.
against the seat. It's like, oh my gosh,
Like-
I'm not even at work yet.
Clothes sticking to you, like you just feel gross
Oh,
like
God,
the
it's so
entire time.
uncomfortable.
What are you talking about? It's cold and rainy here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're like
sure.
6 months in the future. Because it is like in Australia, it's
Christmas
winter time,
time over
right?
there.
Yeah,
Like
it
right
is.
now? Yeah.
Yeah, it's winter.
And then when
So
we're
that's a new
freezing
show.
cold, it's summertime over there. So
It's we're upside down.
man,
We're all upside down.
it's been terrible.
Yeah.
So, Emmy, since it's fall over there, how's the new show?
Yeah, exactly. Dang,
Actually,
we're all gonna die.
yeah, it's still winter. But we've passed autumn, and I can tell you that the show is absolutely terrible.
Yeah, it's already premiered here. You don't want to see it.
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
Oh,
one of
it's
these
gonna be
days
so
we'll get
fun.
there.
It'll be so
Yeah.
fun.
Before we get too much further into it, I mentioned to you guys before we started, but like I think what would be cool for us with the live streams from here on is like if there's anything that happens in like the Barney world that is like newsworthy, that we talk about it here before we jump into like what our episodes are that we've chosen and things like that. So I want to do that first. That gives us some conversation talk with the people in the comments. But the first thing that I think we should address is for people who don't know, Suzanne Lockridge, one of the other people along with Irene Corey, who is responsible for building all of the Barney, BJ, and Baby Bop costumes that we saw on our TV screens in whatever form, passed away earlier this month. And so we want to show some respect to her for like all the stuff that she did, all the costumes, the work that she put in to help the show that we are allowed to sit here and talk about now actually happen. Andrew Olson did a great tribute on his YouTube channel. And so I want to show some of that video. But if you want to see the full video, go over to Barney Builder on YouTube and watch the full video there because he deserves to have the views for the work that he put in. But I got permission from him today to show a clip of his tribute to her, and so I just want to take some time to show that as we give our respects to Suzanne Lockridge and all the great work that she did for Barney and Friends. So here we go.
When I came out of college, we decided to put it together. We each had $1,000 when we put it together.
Suzanne Lockridge was born in Houston, Texas in October 1950. She discovered a passion for sewing early on in life. Upon graduating from UT Austin in 1979, she went to work for the Pierre Wolf Design Company as a scenic painter, and in 1983 embarked on a new journey with her acclaimed costume designer aunt, Irene Corey. The duo went into business together and formed Irene Corey Design Associates. Irene took Suzanne under her wing and mentored her in costume design. Locally, in the Dallas area, they became known as the Foam Ladies. Throughout the 1980s, Suzanne and Irene formed a fierce reputation for building larger-than-life costumes. In 1988, their reputation expanded as they embarked on building one of the most recognizable children's characters of all time.
It went through many stages. There was the one that was painted, but that was quickly going to deteriorate. So we decided it needed to be covered. Mm-hmm. And the foam had to be just right, the right density, and anyway, it had to be just right. The fabric had to be just right.
Suzanne and her team built all of the Barney, Baby Bob, and BJ costumes from 1988 through the show's end in 2009, even after Irene Corey retired in 2005.
Tonight, if you add all the green ones and the yellow ones, BJ and Baby Bob and Barney, I think there was more than 100. That was a lot of dinosaurs.
Over the past couple of years, I had the opportunity to speak with Suzanne on a couple occasions, and she was just an extremely sweet lady and truly had a passion for what she did. She really was an inspiration to many, and it was because of Suzanne and Irene and me observing their costume work with Barney that inspired me to get into puppet building and to costume making as a teenager. And I know many other professional puppet builders and costume makers that have similar stories in watching Barney and being inspired to get into the craft. You know, I'm incredibly grateful to her and to Irene for really perfecting their craft and for bringing joy to millions of children. They're touching our lives as children. You know, everyone that was involved with Barney during his run, you know, they all had their part to play. And Suzanne and Irene's part was really critical to the character, to bringing him to life. And I think they did an incredible job with that. And I think they should be proud of the legacy that they left on the world. So join me in celebrating the life of Suzanne Lockridge.
Yeah, welcome back. So yeah, I think it's important for us, you know, to show our respects for her and Irene and all the many people, you know, like Barney would have looked much different if it was anyone else to build those costumes. So I think I speak for everyone when I say we're glad it was them who was able to bring that character and BJ and Baby Bob to life in the form that they did. And allows us to sit here and be able to have these conversations. And so we're kind of at that point now, which is weird. We're like the people who were part of these shows that we loved growing up, you know, I mean, they're older, they're starting to leave this earth. And so that's why I think History Fans is so important, why Kaylin and Andrew, you know, created it to be able to start to preserve this history and speak to these people while we still have them. And so glad Andrew was able to talk to her. And yeah, do you guys have anything that you want to share about Suzanne or thoughts or anything?
Suzanne was just an incredible talent, and I'm so sorry that I never got to meet her. I never got to talk to her, but she was just an incredible talent. Her and Irene Corey, they're reunited now, so it's they're reunited now, but together they made an incredible team, and they really kind of made this iconic version of Barney that we all grew up with, and that kept getting refined, over the decades. Started with what was affectionately termed as the big blue dog, and then it kept continually getting refined as the decades went on. But it's essentially because of them that we have this avatar of this iconic character who children really latched onto and were able to really love. So I thank both Irene Corey and Suzanne Lockridge for making this character come to life.
Yeah, I there's been a lot of a lot of costume characters and puppets and all kinds of things for a very, very long time. But I don't think there has been one with. I don't think there's been a character with as much of a visual and physical evolution as Barney had. Like Barney continuously would change and change and change and change, but you could see him, like Emmy said, getting refined over time. And I feel like with a lot of shows like this, kids shows especially, a lot of times we will see these characters and be like, oh, this is just a character from the show. But like we don't really think about the craft and the craftsmanship of what was put into these costumes. Like we can't just, ordinary people just sitting down in a chair, we're not really going to be like, oh, well, I can just make that. It's like it takes a lot of work, takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, and the people behind it definitely deserve a lot more recognition. And I think that Suzanne and Irene were definitely pioneers in some way for that. And Kerron, like you said, we're at a point now where people are getting older. Times are changing, and I've said before that Barney as a franchise, like a lot of different things, Barney is a book, and there's a lot of empty pages, empty holes in time gaps in history that haven't been filled in. And thankfully, with things like Barney History Fans and Andrew and a lot of other historians, we're able to connect with these people before they leave and fill in these pages. You can turn back time and look back and see all the stuff that happened, everything that went into what we grew up with. And just forever, grateful for Suzanne for what she put into this franchise.
For sure.
Yeah, those two, it's kind of unexplainable the testament they would sort of, put within not only, just the franchise alone, but Barney himself. I mean, historically is known that when other costume companies were commissioned to build replicas officially for the company, whether that be shipped out to overseas or somewhere nationwide, they wouldn't give them like the blueprints of how to format Barney costume, because that's how protective they were of the character, much like the people working on the show were as well. And again, like just picking out back on what you guys said, when we look at like those sort of like live action puppet characters, we don't really sit down and really appreciate the craftsmanship that goes into it, whether that be all three dinos. I believe they built one of the dolls as well. We'll get to that later. But just knowing what they could build and what they accomplished over the time span of the original show's run is truly remarkable. So
yeah, and I think it's like we sometimes like bash like the the later suits and things for the way they looked and like how they weren't as great as the ones before and things like that. But I think you had mentioned it, and Emmy as well, how like Barney's look kept evolving, right? Like you look at some other shows that have costume characters, their characters nearly stay the exact same. Like they just keep building the same type of build. Like it doesn't like, I'll take Big Bird for instance, right? Like in the very beginning, his head was like much smaller and different, but like he's largely been this thing, right, for decades. And it doesn't really change his form, or it's like always the same. And with Barney, it's one of those rare shows where like they did keep changing his look when I don't think they necessarily had to. They probably could have kept just building him the same way, right? Even if they changed, to fleece or whatever, he could have stayed remaining like the same form. They could have just kept duplicating it. But, his face shape or his jaw shape or things like that kept changing and evolving over time, which is something that I've always loved. I've always loved to see, like when Barney was still on the air, it was always like, I wonder what Barney looks like next season. Is it the same costume? Or like, what's new about them? What's new about the other like that's something I looked forward to. That a lot of shows that had mascot costumes, whether they were a puppet like Big Bird or Bear in the Big Blue House or whatever, like they stayed the same largely the entire time, right? And I personally liked the changes that they would make, even if some costumes weren't as great looking as the other ones, meaning the ones that was on TV, not all the doubles that they used for promo things and stuff, but like the ones that we would see in actual media. I liked seeing what the different changes were. So
and imagine the work ethic they had, because well, the era we're talking about today, I mean, like, you're building 2 suits for this season, a suit to be shot on film that's going all the way to Canada, and what else? Like tours, and just that, like, short enough time spent alone. Not many costume shops can do that within like a certain time frame. And again, that's just a testament of how both of them really sort of kind of instilled that hustler mindset of, okay, we have this amount of time to do this. We know the structure, we know what the character looks like, but let's add a little bit of like more detail or a little bit of change to sort of make it to what it is.
Yeah, for sure.
I think my favorite thing about one of my favorite things about Barney's physical evolution is just the fact that they would never even mention it. Like, it would never be like, you can tell people are thinking about it.
Right.
People are like, he looks different here, but like no one really like acknowledges it. Not even like Cheryl. I think the only time I remember her saying something about a character looking different would have been Baby Bop and her height change when she addressed it in 1993, and she was like, I don't even remember what she said specifically, but I think it related to
it was like the kids started imagining her like little.
And that's such a cool way of tying it into the show's theming, because it is very much like everyone has their own Barney. You can go back and say, like, do you remember Barney? They'll reference a certain season or a certain episode, and like their Barney's almost always going to look different, and it's very easy to differentiate Barney into different eras because of how he looked. And that's something that a lot of shows don't really have. And even if it was sort of like unintentional or just something that happened because they wanted to refine, like, that is something that Barney has to it, is that it's very easy to pick, different eras and that kind of thing. I think it's really nice.
Yeah,
for sure.
And also with because Kaylin, you brought up that they had to build a suit to ship off to Canada for filming, and it's not just like a show suit, like it's got animatronics and stuff like that. So there's also that. So on top of the workload they had for season 4, and on top of the suits they had to build for press tours, they also had to deal with a complex suit, and it's just it's this really complex kind of thing. So it was a lot of work for them. But but Hedge, as you were saying as well, it's so easy to kind of differentiate the eras of Barney based on the suit you're seeing, and differentiate not just the show or the movie or whatever, but also like the little live performances and the tours, and go, because once you learn, you pick it out. Once you train your eye for that kind of thing, you're able to pick it out. Like in the beginning, I didn't really notice, but like as time went on, and you see like side by side comparisons, you're like, they improved Barney's eye focus here, or they dyed his fleece a different type of magenta here, and and Jess Nelson and building that skull, but it was Irene Corey and Suzanne Lockridge who really got the meat of the suit, the base.
BBL Barney.
Yeah. Yes, BBL Barney.
Except for this one. I don't know what happened.
Oh God, I watched that earlier. Oh Jesus, what is that?
It's
No.
nothing about it is
Oh.
good.
Is this? It's Chipmunk Barney. He's got like.
Yeah, I
nuts
don't
in-
know what happened with him. Look at that
I think
thing.
what's so upsetting
Oh
to me
my
about this clip
Lord.
is you can tell it's David Joyner in there too.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to make it work, and it just doesn't work.
So even David Joyner can't make a terrible suit like look good, right? Like his face shape is just like this, like everything is just like scrunched to the, and it's like, why is it like that? But yes, that was Jen thinks that was pre-Barney skull, which would make sense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because it does kind of look like the season 1-2 kind of suit, just with a different face.
Yeah.
It looks like the Geico mascot.
Yeah. All right.
Good
So
on,
yeah,
everybody.
let's move on.
15% or more contract.
One more thing in news before we get into what people are actually here for. Kaylin shared this the other day, but today actually marks the day that the top executive for Nelvana leaves, right? Who was behind series which includes Barney's World.
Wow.
And so a lot of people are asking what's happening with that show and the other shows, because they all got, I think development is paused right now. They're trying to cut
There's
jobs and costs.
like a Franklin show coming out too.
Franklin, Babar.
Yeah.
Ew, Franklin, gross.
So
They're bringing them all back.
yeah, they're clearly struggling for creativity. But Kaylin, you said before we started that you heard some extra news regarding at least Barney's World. You want to share what it is?
So, if I'm not mistaken, this is quarter 3 this year. Hold on, January, February, March, April, May.
He's making it up.
Second quarter. Whatever. They had an earnings call. Mattel hosted an earnings call with all their investors recently, and Ynon Kreitz, the CEO of Mattel, he was on the phone, kind of combing through all the things that Mattel has going on. Obviously, the most prominent thing still within their own kind of media catalog is still the Barbie movie. They're still talking about that, but when he got the TV, he specifically stopped and told them, like, hey, we do also have a television division, and this new show involving the new Barney and whatnot, Barney's World, as he mentioned, is still on track to premiere this fall. Despite what, I guess you can show the article again. The article said that Nelvana kind of had to halt development on a lot of those productions, but logically, if you think about it, we've publicly known about this since February of last year, and sort of how these like TV shows, and especially these animated shows, go. They're already in production like 2 months prior, once they got all like the character structures, what they look like, all the casting, all that, all that sort of thing. So logistically, I would probably say like maybe at least 45 episodes are probably done.
Great.
And are just kind of ready to shove out, but don't take my word for it.
Cool.
But,
So there's something to still look forward to, or not. Most likely not.
I just want the toys, dude. Give me that blush.
But yeah, I just want all the toys. That's not this.
No, give me that one.
Oh, you got it.
Look at that
a
thing.
demon. That's a demon. That's not a plush. That's a demon.
Look at that.
That's the Hero Studio. Ew.
Did Andrew send you that?
No, I bought it because I wanted to
you
see
bought it?
how terrible it looked, and I do want to put it in the collection just because.
They discounted it. It's $19.99 now.
Look, it has like the BYG
On
tail.
discount.
It has like the Backyard Gang tail.
Yeah,
But,
that's
like,
kind of crazy.
The like weird like Barney and Friends body, and then this like alligator head.
See, that's crazy. I would, if Mattel made a Barney that looked like, if Mattel made a Barney that looked like Barney in that pose, like the studio plush, I would, like, in a heartbeat. All right, well.
Okay.
Look at that side profile, dude.
That's crazy.
Oh,
The side profile,
world.
It kind of looks like the season 1 silhouette, like from the intro.
It kind of does. Like if you squish it a little bit.
Everything but his face. Like it's just the face. Everything else looks. I would buy it.
So I got curious.
The body, it actually is really well made. Like at least the stitching and stuff. Like it, the face is just terrible. But like literally, if you, I don't know if you can look. That looks fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like shorten him a little bit, and he'd be like perfect. Wow.
He's not the
So
real thing, so I'm not like.
I got curious, and I went on Amazon to see the review. People are actually buying it, like mainly because they're mistaking it as an actual plush.
We gotta be whistleblowers.
Yeah. Well, I know Bob mentioned that he was like heavily thinking about like reporting it,
buying one. Oh,
yeah, sell it on the screen.
This is awful. I'm gonna get it.
Yes, by the way, that is a knockoff. That's not like actually like Mattel produced or whatever, whoever owns the show now produced Barney doll. That's a knockoff that someone put on Amazon. You can buy it if you want. That's not one of the officials. Just so you guys know.
But the reviews are like, oh, I bought this because my daughter likes Barney. Or like, oh, I remember Barney, so I'm gonna purchase this. It's not, but it's like the reviews are never like, why does Barney look like this now?
Yeah, well, and that's what I've been saying. Like, kids don't care. You know what I mean? Like my daughter who's 3, I showed her that picture and like when it first came out, and it's still Barney to her as much as the rest is. So like, kids don't care. And as much as adults like to try to say it, they're all liars. Anytime you see any dinosaur that's purple with a green stomach, even if it's not Barney, we always call it Barney.
It's
Barney. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just what it is. So like
those things that you see at parks that you can ride on.
Yeah,
that's Barney.
What did that Barney ride? Yeah.
When did Mattel buy Barney?
2011, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I just think it's hilarious that Barney had been sort of shelved since 2011 all the way through 2021 technically 2022. And then right when they're actually starting back up again, a Chinese knockoff company beats Mattel to making a plush on Amazon before they can do it. And
they did have
to do it.
They had like a 1.5 year start. Like Mattel had time to put something out and they just didn't. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know. Well, and actually, because like Mattel, Barney wasn't shelved that whole time, right? Like they tried to reboot him at one point, and then 2017 they mentioned there was some. They just never showed anything. They had nothing to show public, or else I think we would have seen more stuff like that too.
Which was an effort to try to keep him within like the public, and also keep him within the public eye, because around that time when they announced that show in particular, their contract with PBS ran out.
Yeah,
so like the older episodes were about to phase out of the network, and which would allow them to make a new show to produce anywhere, and we all know how that went. But
yeah, I mean, I still stand behind, and we can move on from this afterwards. But like the whole Barney's World thing, like Jen just said, she kept an eye on comments on Facebook, and half the people were like, "It's Barney." Other half was like, "What do they do to Barney?" And like, aside from us, like our community of Barney fans, I don't think anyone else cares what he looks like. Like some of them will comment, "What did they do to Barney?" Right? But they're not gonna go watch it anyway.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter to them. You know what I'm saying?
Unless they have kids, and we're like,
unless they have kids, right? And then if their kids like it, they're going to turn it on. Just like Cheryl's whole philosophy was, if the kids like it, the parents will come, right? Even if we hate it, like if my daughter likes this show, and wants the toys and things, I'm going to buy her the toys. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not like, that's not the Barney. I'm not getting you that. You know what I mean? Like, we're the only ones who care. You know, to like that extent. Obviously, we do want it to do well, and we want them to compliment who this character was that we grew up with. But outside of our community, not many people actually care. It's like the how they changed Clifford, right? And took him back to like what he looked like in the original books. Like no one cared that he looks different. You know what I mean? Like
I compare it to before my granddad passed away. We had an affinity for the James Bond movies, so he liked the old ones, while I kind of like the new ones that were in theaters. And I would tell him like, "Hey, I'm gonna go watch the new one in theaters. You want to go watch it?" And he was like, "No, that one sucks. Watch this one. We slap it around."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's even with the Backyardigans reboot that got announced, everyone's like, "Oh, they ruined the Backyardigans," and then I'm just looking at a photo, and it's just like they didn't.
That actually looks like crap.
Mhm.
They didn't even change the models that much. It's just
really.
like they just.
My
changed
problem with
it.
Backyardigans is how do you make them look worse in the same animation they were to begin with? You know what I mean? Like the animation, the form of animation you've used is better now than it was then, and they don't even look as good.
You know what's kind
You know
of
what I
crappy? The creator of the show passed away not too long ago.
Yeah.
Actually, kind of most
Oh,
recently.
really?
And surprisingly, like this comes out and it's kind of like, wait, what? Did you wait until she?
Yeah, like
died?
wait until she passed away
Before you like start monetizing on something? Like, oh my
All right,
god!
now let's do it. Yeah, now let's put it out. Hurry up.
It's like what happened with SpongeBob when Steven Hillenburg passed away. Before he passed away, he was like, I don't want SpongeBob to ever have any spinoff. Then he passed away, and then like a month later, like, we're doing a spinoff. It's like,
Yeah,
we're doing like 5 movies.
3 spinoffs and a movie about not even one of the main characters. And then we're gonna let it leak first. All right. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see what happens. I personally think, I mean, kids still love dinosaurs, right? This world of kids, most of them don't know what Barney is unless they've came across it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Let's move on. So here we are. We're here. Season 4 is where we're at now. We're in a whole new era, right? So with season 4, it's a bigger studio. I think they're at Las Colinas now, right? We have a more expansive.
They were there the season.
Were they there?
Yeah, they were there.
Okay, right. But it's just more expansive, right? The treehouse is more expansive.
Yeah.
The play area is more expansive. We have new characters: Scooter, Miss Etta, Booker T. Bookworm, right? There's a lot of things, like a whole like wave of new writers that's come in who's not written on the show before to join Steve White and Mark Bernthal, and of the like. And so like it's a whole new world, a whole new era. Everything looks different. The intro looks different. There's no kids that we're familiar with except for the ones that came in like the season 3 home video realm of things. And so here we are. We're now in that bunch of season 4 through 6 that Lyric now is producing, right? Where they've rebranded Lions, now it's Lyric. What are you guys' thoughts? Like positive thoughts if any with this season? And like the changes that they have made up to that point and things like that.
Everything looks brighter. Everything looks brighter. Now, the thing is, when I was watching the first couple of seasons, the lighting was like really dark at times. Season 3, they brightened it up a little bit. And then season 4, I don't know if it's like they switched filming techniques or if they shot it on something else entirely. But yeah, they started using red lights. But I don't know if they started shooting it on something else entirely, because everything looks brighter and cleaner and crisper. And it can't just be, season 3 was 95, they go to 97, it can't be that 2-year difference, but everything looks so much brighter and so much more colorful, and Barney really pops against a lot of these backgrounds. And they've got Bob LaValle in now as PD, and Bob LaValle is doing an amazing job with the sets and like, because the sets, and they really contrast really well with the characters, with the dinos, and everything just contrasts really, really well. And they've got, I think this is the first season with Joe Phillips, isn't it? With as
the main music director,
and he's all right. I personally prefer Bob Singleton as a music director, but he introduces some new styles to the music, and some different, there's some experimentation. I think this is also David. Is this David?
It looked like you punched Emmy.
Oh no, I was dapping her up.
Oi! That's so rude. No punching people. Listen to Barney. No physical altercations. That's
folks was mean in season 4, but we won't get into that yet.
Oh yeah, we won't. I was gonna mention, when you mentioned Bob LaValle, what he brought was sort of like, I don't want to say revolutionary, but it actually helped more like with the technical stuff. So when he did his interview with Purple Tails, he mentioned when he first came in, he had like suggested like, hey, if you like put like a tree right here, like in the corner of where like the treehouse was, you can actually shoot like this scene in particular in 360, and actually turned out to be like they could shoot the whole entire set in 360. And the crew was like, "Oh my god, this is genius!"
That and like I think, I mean, technologically there had to be a big jump between them filming in '95 or whatever for season 3,
they took a break,
taking that year off, and then coming back. Things had changed, cameras changed, lights changed, right? But also, I think the other thing with it was, and Fred Holmes mentioned this when I interviewed him, is he was brought in after working on Wishbone and things with those season 3 videos to make Barney look more cinematic than just the standard just set this shot, right? So they adopted that into season 4, and then from then on, it was shot almost like they were movies versus how seasons 1 and 2 and season 3 was shot, right? So I think that also played a part in being able to use the set the way that Bob LaValle designed it, right? But then also having people like Fred Holmes who had experience shooting movies and documentaries, shooting it in a completely different way than it had been done, which just also helped with the way that bringing and it was great to start it with like that, those videos, and then start with that new season. Everything was new, right? The way it was shot, the music. Even Joe Phillips he wasn't new to Barney because he had done Universal Studios whole thing, right? But he was new to the series as the head person. So then you have him coming in, a whole host of new kids, new writers, new, more expansive set. So like everything just complemented each other. I think season 4 was really good as a whole, as far as episodes go. Not one of the best seasons, but as a whole, with it being a new era, I think it was all right. But I think all of those elements played a part into why it just looks brighter or more cinematic or whatever you would call it.
I'll say this. I know. Sorry. He looked dead at me.
Say it.
No, well, like you said, the last stream.
You're not even. Who are you looking at?
It's Face Off.
Who are you looking at, Kaylin? He's over there. He's right there.
Like Hedge mentioned last stream, how like when he thinks of Barney, he thinks of like, season 3. When I think like when we talk about Suzanne,
can you go any slower? You were like you were glitching or something, so like all your words were like just. I understand. Hey, come over here. Look at this.
But no, this is what I think.
Kaylin in 240p now.
Can you hear me
140p.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
You're just in like 240p.
Oh. There we go.
Yeah, you good.
But nah, this is like when I say that, I feel like what I'm saying is when I think of Barney, I think of like this era in particular. I grew up on these sort of videos, and just seeing how expansive, like we said, of the set was, and how much more love they kind of put into like the production of this. You can really feel it. The only gripe I have with this set is that stupid bench they put around the tree. I've always hated that.
Little tree.
Why?
It doesn't fit.
It's just a bench.
But it doesn't fit.
They got sit.
What do you mean it doesn't fit? It fits right around the tree. It literally fits around the tree.
Why doesn't it fit? It doesn't contrast with everything else that's on the set. Like,
so we should throw out the bench around the tree and then bring back in a stupid tree stump just in the middle for everyone to just trip over.
Yes.
Dude, I like the bench. I don't know why. I liked it though.
Me too.
I just feel like, well, they also took like they had like a wheelchair ramp. I always thought that was sort of a kind of genius. Like it's a school that you got to be more inclusive with the people who go there. So why not?
Yeah,
add
because
something like that?
in like seasons 1, 2, and 3, you just had the guy in the wheelchair just in the playground.
How do you get down?
He just leaves. Like I'm sure there's another part of the school where he gets in, but it's like you never see him inside the school.
How does he get downstairs?
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have put a wheelchair ramp leading up to the bench. I as a kid, I did not like this season as a kid. I don't know what. I think it was just because it was so different compared to like season 1 through 3, especially in the intro. There was always a formula. He comes alive. They come and hug him. At the end, it's the tire swing, but everything in the middle is different. And when season 4 happened, I only knew it through a handful of home videos, and I never would be popped in. I would be like, I don't like everything's so different. The music, I don't. But like now, as an adult, being able to go through all these episodes, I genuinely feel like, we've said season 2 is an improvement of season 1, and then season 3 is like an overhaul. I feel like season 4 is like the sequel to season 3. Like I see them hand in hand, but just different. And I genuinely think that season 4 is the second best season of Barney, right after season 3. Now, this is also the last one I'm familiar with. I haven't really seen. What is the issue?
Go ahead. You're going to say I haven't really seen the other seasons.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I haven't really seen anything past season 4. So like, I'm actually really excited to get past season 4.
Oh, great. You can hear from me.
Oh, gosh. Why won't you leave me alone? I just love how everything looks in season 4. It's very fun. The treehouse. I love the treehouse. I think as a tree, it's too much. You mean to tell?
Yeah, it's way too much.
It's not even like, oh, it's their imagination. That's just how they see it. That's how it actually is. What do you mean? What do you mean this tree? You built this whole like patio.
See,
inside.
I don't think it's a real tree. I don't think it's a real tree house.
It's like a building.
No, like I think with the obviously they play in it when Barney's not there, right? But I don't think like for season 3, the treehouse seemed more. It was still obviously way too big, but more realistic. Of like the parents built it, right? This one is so expansive that it, to me, I've never, as an adult, like I don't look at it as like it's an actual place. I think it's just part of their imagination.
Yeah, that would be like an Airbnb.
Yeah.
Today
you can rent it out. If you go to Las Colinas, you can rent that treehouse right now. Probably shouldn't. There's going to be a group of Barney fans going. They said the treehouse was going to be here.
Like the tree is here, and then like it extends like all the whole surface area is like bigger than the base of the tree itself.
Yeah,
like it extends over the whole school.
They try to remind you with like sticking like tree limbs and stuff like within the inside of the tree.
Yeah,
so it's kind of like, okay, well, you put this giant patio outside, and then also in the much later before Hit bought the series and they did those videos before all the park stuff. When they destroyed all the other sets, they went into that treehouse and it was like, oh, it's raining, and logically you would be like, the rain would probably still seep through.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was seeping through. Don't you remember? Like, didn't they have like, or was it like one of the season 4 through 6 episodes when it was raining and they were like catching some water in buckets and parts of the house? So like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that it's a real place, but also I don't know if this is any truth to it. But it's just speculation. When I talked to Barry Pearl, remember he said like it was initially an idea to bring Tinkerput into the series. I wonder if that would have happened if the treehouse would have been his toy factory instead,
like the ship.
I don't even know if it would have been the ship. Just like he built this expansive toy factory, like instead of it being the treehouse. And I don't know. I doubt they would have gone so far to then be like, no, we're not bringing him in. Let's just make it a treehouse. But I wonder if that was maybe part of the idea initially, which it could have worked.
The school board wouldn't approve.
Not yet. We can't have a guy building toys.
This random man
out on the schoolyard
factory in your playground, please. Please, can I please? Walks away and
3 random dinosaurs that are enough.
And also, I think we give Joe Phillips a hard time because, like, I think
This is somebody's best work.
during the lyric era, he was far better as the music director than he became. You know, and I love the guy, but let's just state facts. Like, he grew very lazy over the run of Hit, and maybe it wasn't him. Maybe it was the people running Hit going, we don't need to keep changing things, right? Maybe they were behind those creative decisions, but he was far better as music director those first 3 seasons than what it eventually became, which I think.
Ooh, I despise that. No, let's talk about it. The music in season 4 and onward. I don't like when I Love You has all these instruments and this bombastic sound. I don't
bombastic?
Like
is that what you said?
Bombastic.
Yes.
Did you say bombastic?
Is that not the right word?
How would you spell that?
I'm not doing this. I don't like when.
No. Is it this? Bombastic?
What am I getting myself into?
I don't know. Or is it more as like, is there just not 2 B's and it's just like one word? Like, it's just bombastic.
It's the Shaggy song.
Also, is that in the Urban Dictionary? Or is there like an alternative dictionary outside of the regular dictionary that word appears in?
Like
no,
I was
it's a
saying,
real word.
Bombastic.
It's in the dictionary.
Okay, it's spelled that way. All right, moving on. Sorry.
Anyway, I don't like the just the overproduced, like even in the theme song where they're like after school we meet to play and say, and like the instrumentation is like boom 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 boom. I'm like, I don't like the music.
Do you like that more than you would like the later years when they put like random sound effects within the
oh, that's worse.
Yeah. Like, this is so distracting. Stop.
The kids laughing. Jen thinks that the music was better during the Hit years, at least the underscore.
I'm sure she does.
I think this is.
She's wrong.
In this era, particularly, like 4 through 6, he incorporates a lot of, and this is the former musician in me. He incorporates a lot of like jazz, gospel,
It's
tiny bit of R&B.
Mr. Lover. You guys know that dance?
Remember that during Barney.
Mr. Bombastic. You guys don't know this song? All right, it's just me and I.
By Shaggy.
Johnny.
Oh, someone just mentioned it. How did that made me so mad too. I'm like, why you're doing too much? that's the songs are just doing too much. How to be a friend? It's like, okay, we get it. All right. Anyway.
Also, okay, somebody mentioned the saxophone. He doesn't really
not in those early years.
Not in these.
He got crazy with the saxophone later. Like,
yeah.
Bro, are you trying to seduce these kids, or what's happening with the saxophone?
At the end of I Love You. Didn't they do that in Barney's house? Won't love me too.
Was it in Barney's house? I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like I remembered it. I don't know.
I actually like that version.
Can we also talk about how season 4 completely ignored Mr. Boyd in their cast photo? It's like everyone come together, just not you.
He's inside
He's a
cleaning.
photographer, so he probably took the shot.
He wasn't a photographer until he came back to the park. after they kicked him out first and brought him back. Let's talk about that for a second. You know how big of a slap in the face that is? To get rid of this guy because he's creepy, right? And you get rid of Stella and all these things. And then because your show sucks now, and you're like, oh, let's do a reunion. Let's bring back these 2 people that would have worked the whole time and just let them be in this movie for a second. You know what I'm saying? Like, how messed up is that, dude? Like, I would have said no, but hey.
He shows up for 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Shows up for 2.
We know a guy who could take this picture, and no one ever goes, oh, it's Mr. Boyd, right? Because he never had a camera. Right? He's never had a camera. So why would he be the one all of a sudden that you bring back? And okay.
Literally, the majority of that video is, let's break open this box. I remember when this happened in this episode, and they played that episode.
Barney just has a terrible like short-term memory because all he can remember is when he got to the park. He can't remember anything else.
I'm sorry. This doesn't even. I just like what you just did. I like the idea of Barney like starting to talk and then forgetting to do his voice and then starting over. Oh, I remember. Oh, I remember when I.
Yeah, the reason for getting rid of Mr. Boyd was scummy. Yeah.
Is that wait?
Because
That's real.
we'll just say it. The people who ran Barney seasons 9 on were idiots, to be honest. And they honestly still are.
He was the last one that carried over. So like they got rid of all the other puppets and like the other human characters.
Yeah,
and
Mr. Boyd came to the park to take care of the park, basically. He was like he stayed in the park and took care of like the gardens and like the animals and stuff like that. But the executives, like the new executives who came in, kicked Mr. Boyd out because they said that the character was creepy and he could be a pedophile. And Steve White's like, no, he couldn't because we literally write the character. like, why would you? Yeah, I don't know. Jen says the execs who kicked him out were gone by the time Best of Barney came, but it was too late by then. You had already destroyed it, so it didn't really matter. You know what I mean?
God bless the actor that played Mr. Boyd. Can you imagine hearing that? Just being like, you think I could be a what?
Yes, and thank you, Isaiah. Yeah, they did like the people who ran the show. The new people thought Mr. Boyd was a creepy character.
He's a janitor.
You know,
hey, Mr. Boyd.
Yeah,
I hear you like him young.
It's no more creepy than like, I guess like the cops and other people, the mail guy coming through and delivering mail, and you know what I'm saying? Like he just did his job. Like,
what was bro's name from season 2? The
hey,
guy
Mr. Boyd. I hear you like him young. That's a little modern reference for everybody.
69 God. Oh.
Freaky as park ranger.
What was his name? The guy that sung songs. He was a
Mr.
guest star in
Finnegan?
season. No. Season 2.
The guy like he sang his own songs when he came on. Joe Scruggs.
Joe Scruggs. Yeah. How is Mr. Boyd?
He was creepy. There's a wiggle in my knee. No, you know just I love to stop the wiggle, but it makes me want to giggle. I've done everything.
His
Barney's like,
scary.
Barney's like, it's my good friend Joe Scruggs, and he just walks out of the school. I was like, what was you doing in the school?
And isn't he like
you're doing
isn't he walking with some weird like kind of step? And they're like, "What's wrong with you, dude?" Like, "Oh, sorry, it's got a wiggle in my foot."
You just end the school, and it's even weirder when you remember Barney's not real. So Barney's not actually there, and this man just walks out of the school. It's like, what?
Hey kids, I see you playing with that Barney doll. That reminds me of a wiggle.
Yeah, dude.
That I have.
Help! Somebody help!
He clearly sang about the wiggle being everywhere except for obviously the part that it probably was for this weird guy. Being in this
Mr.
movie.
Boyd's the problem.
Yeah, Mr. Boyd's the problem. The guy who cleaned the windows for you guys, made sure the ducks were fed. He's the one who's not allowed to be in the park anymore.
Literally employed by the school. Did a background check and everything.
At least Mr. Boyd wasn't telling the kids to wiggle their asses. Jesus
Exactly,
Christ.
yeah. He played the piano, right? He took care of the park. He didn't do anything. Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Boyd, you remember my good
Robert
friend
Swedman,
Joe Scruggs?
if you ever see this, I would like to have you on the podcast. Thank you.
Goodness, man. Season 4.
All right. Should we do it? Okay.
Oh, one more thing.
Great. Go ahead, Kaylin.
So we've been talking about the dolls throughout the streams and like how those have kind of evolved along with Barney's appearance.
Oh my god!
And well, the first one they made prior to actually filming this season, when they made those home videos before shooting,
it was good.
So the doll that we all love, allegedly that got like worn down, just the doll prior. So they kind of like sat themselves down and like, okay, if we want to keep doing this trend.
No, it didn't. That's the same doll from season 3.
Oh,
that's Jeff Nelson's hero doll.
Let's not start that. What Andrew Olsen said.
It's always been the same.
The very early great Andrew
Speaking
Olsen.
of, before we go into that,
Alive.
before we go into that, I need to show this first before we go further. Said Juan Hooks. We showed his Barney doll on the last stream, right? I think he met with. I'm almost positive it's Jess Nelson he met with recently, and he wanted to compare the leftover doll that Jess Nelson has with his doll. Why is Jess Nelson's doll screaming at this man? Like, what is happening? Why are you yelling at me? Why are you looking towards the sky? Like, what's up there?
Why are you yelling? Why are you yelling?
It's very Backyard Gang-esque.
It is. And Said Wong looks like he's like kind of put back. Like, dude, what the fuck are you yelling? Okay.
You know what it looks like? Hello, I'm Mr. Frog.
Oh, it does. Yeah. Oh, hello.
Hello. Anyway.
The season
Brandon thinks it was Ray Henry. Still all the same. Why is it yelling?
Hey, Henry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
But what Andrew revealed, and actually I think it was Suzanne who actually told him. They sat them down and was like, look, can you kind of build this more as a puppet rather than like a statue, I guess you would say. They were like, okay, you keep falling apart, but we need something that can like withhold itself and not like, sort of deteriorate. Kind of like the first costume. So they were like, okay, let's just kind of like think of it as a puppet that you can pick up, move around, and play with, I guess you would say.
Interesting.
And that's why we got Chubby Barney.
I actually like that Barney. So I actually like that one, like that was used in Adventure Bus and those, and that costume. I think would have been better throughout the duration of season 4. I mean, obviously,
wiggly eyes,
huh?
With the nonstop wiggly eyes when he's.
Well, yeah, they did use it in some episodes where, like, every time he turned his head, they would go the opposite way.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was always just looking to the side. But I did like that costume. Like, at least to me, like the body, it wasn't the same shape as like season 3, but it seemed like far more like formed and stayed like kept its form. You know what I mean? Like some of the later years and like obviously the early years, you could see like the leg or something bend in sometimes. But that very early season 4 and season 3's costumes seemed to like keep, and then season 13's costume also seemed to like keep their shape like all the way around far better than any of the other suits, in my opinion.
They made his eyelids bigger, or at least more prominent, so it looks a lot. It's a bit easier to see when he blinks, and I thought that was really nice.
Jen's like, I like that they built the Barney just to be abused.
Yeah, they built like 5 different Barney dolls.
They did.
They're
kind of
fucking throwing that thing all over the place. Like,
throwing them down like tree holes, throwing them like a football, like just all kinds of like.
Okay, can we talk about that? How
the
like
hell up.
they sort of change how he comes to life, whereas prior to it, it was like, okay, we need help with something, and we want to like do something today. Let's kind of call up Barney, but not actually. You know what I mean? He kind of shows up when we
Barney just kind of,
but not.
Yeah, he just kind of showed up when no one asked him to this season.
Right?
Like he just appears. I want to play too, and it's like, dude,
we're
not even thinking of you right now. Like they're literally in the middle of a conversation, and you just come to life.
Hey guys, there is an episode where BJ's technically, like he technically appears before Barney does, where he's like playing a drum, and they're like, "What's that noise?" And then Barney's like, "Hey guys," it's like we're not. What?
Which also happened in season 3 with the episode, because they're throwing shoes out of. We don't know that it's them until like later, like within the first act, and it's kind of like wait. How does this world work? Like, because they do the same thing in like the Sega Genesis game, where they're like, "Oh, we're here to play hide and seek with Barney," and Baby Bop's there, and Barney's not even alive yet. So it's kind of like, how does this world work?
Yeah.
So it's like if they went up into the treehouse and Barney's not alive, there's just nothing up there, but shoes are just flying out of the off the top balcony. Like that's when Barney finally goes into public domain, like in 300 years.
300 is crazy.
That's going to be a crazy horror movie, dude. They can just keep renewing the trademark and everything. Like they're really doing something with it. But yeah, that's going to be a crazy horror movie. You think Winnie the Pooh is crazy?
Dinosaurs.
He keeps singing songs. Make it stop.
Like, that's what he always did, though.
That's Daniel Kaluuya's vision, everybody.
Yeah,
I assume.
I
But yeah,
hate
still,
how
like,
yellow
thinking
Daniel
about the movie.
Kaluuya's eyes are, but let's move on. Okay. Here we go. Season 4. Let's start voting because we've been on here for like an hour and have not at all given anything.
I have to go in like 10
Oh,
minutes.
that's right. Emmy's abandoning us every last stream of the month. Okay.
I'm
Fantastic.
already
So,
now.
Emmy, you're going first. So, what's your episode and why? And it better be good.
It was between this and Tremendous Trees. It was really close, but for me, it ended up being all mixed up because Barney throughout that entire episode, like, and I didn't know this until a couple of nights ago. But the reason why he's just like standing around with this friggin' hangdog expression and his jaws barely working is because it was Maurice Scott in that episode, wasn't it?
Maurice Scott, as far as media goes that you can actually watch the people in the costumes perform, is single-handedly the worst costume performer
Yes.
they've ever hired to do Barney
Yes.
on a television on the television or movie series.
Yes.
The worst. And it hurts me because it's a black guy. It's like there's no rhythm. Like there's nothing in you where you can do anything that makes this thing move in a great way. Like you thought
Did he get pointers from the other black guy?
Like it's like I don't know if he thought like the costume worked like BJ and Baby Bob did, where you could just shake him around and then his mouth moves, or like what you thought. But my friend, it was a terrible choice then, and it was a terrible choice to bring him in for that one song for in whatever episode that was in season 7. You could have left him out of it. Oh, and then he came back in season 9 also at one point, and it's like so there's no one else. Carrie just said on his podcast, Josh Martin lives 10 minutes away. You couldn't bring Josh back in to jump in when he like. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm taking over your whole thing, Emmy. All mixed up. What were we saying?
Dude, busy doing Dragon Ball Z.
But here's the thing: to add insult to injury, like in that episode, it's not Maurice Scott that's credited; it's Josh Martin.
Mm-hmm.
So I was confused. I was watching the credits, going, "What?" But it's Josh Martin. He's and then I literally found out 2 nights ago it was Maurice Scott. What?
I think the reasoning is, and I could be wrong, but Josh did majority of the other ones aside from David. And I'm wondering if they just by default just kept his name there, because I think Maurice only did that episode, right? Didn't he?
Yeah.
So
let's briefly talk about that. So obviously it's well regarded that halfway through production, basically almost everyone on the staff left to go to Canada to shoot the movie. Wait, what did he say? Whatever. Anyway.
And yeah, I'm sure you have, Jen, but I'm saying they were on TV where everyone else had to see them. That's you in Canada that has to worry about that.
That's you in Canada.
I was at uni when Kodomo was a thing.
I'm Barney, eh?
I'm Barney, eh?
So Jen says that's Ethan's upload. He took the credits from a different episode. Okay.
You can't just do that.
But we do have to give a shout out to our friend Barney, because that's when I'm watching these episodes, I'm on his channel. Because it's the best uploads that exist since Andrew is sitting and hogging all the like actual good versions of the ones he has. Anyway, Kaylin, you were saying something.
So since everybody left to go film the movie, they had to bring like people who were either aware of the production or had like knowledge enough to know how to either like not operate Barney from behind the camera and operate Barney both literally. So it's also well documented that when they were filming the episode Good Clean Fun, Josh had a little incident inside the he didn't piss himself or anything, but
yeah, we never heard this story before, so this is the first time we're ever hearing this story.
Brand new.
It is. So I'm guessing like when I guess the week they were planning to film this next one, they were like, okay, he's in the hospital, so we got to grab somebody like quick so we can make our deadline. What do you do? Well, I'm in the costume for PR and stuff. Great, come on.
You kind of look like David Joyner. We'll just have you do it.
Right? He does.
He looks like a more creepier version of the David, but
Woohoo!
Great value.
but
David.
yeah, woo! Because he would shake with his movement, so it'd be that.
I don't understand. I assume you can move Barney's head and things, but like just by pressing against something. It looked like he kept trying to move Barney's head by moving the mouth bar. So every time Barney's not speaking, he's still talking.
And I'm trying to see his surroundings.
And his hands are way up here the entire time.
all the way. Yes.
It looks like he's trying to shrug, but his shoulders are frozen.
And listen, we obviously all have respect for everyone who's gotten to that in that costume because, I mean, I imagine it's a difficult thing to do, right?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, they could have done something else instead of that.
I mean, when you have the guy who's doing it now for whenever Mattel decides they want to actually do something with the social media stuff, he's actually he hasn't publicly stated, but he's stated like, this is a really hard thing to operate, especially moving the mouth. So you got to, understand like, it's kind of a hard thing to do when you have such a complicated system like that. But
yeah.
I think watching Maurice Scott actually made me appreciate David more because after watching that episode, I went back and watched another one with David Joyner, and I think it was the one where they were playing with like all different kinds of like balls and stuff, and like Barney was like talking, and he had a ball in his hand, he was just like moving it all talking, and like that coordination was like kind of, I don't know, it just made me think like, wow, that must be really hard to hone. Like moving your head just like that while someone's, and then also doing something with your, like, that's crazy. Yeah, Maurice Scott is.
Yeah, they would make him like skate backwards sometimes.
Yeah,
I know Kerry can juggle, so like moving the mouth and also trying to keep up.
It was
juggling.
Yeah.
Harry actually having to like dive into a pool with
and
the costume on and almost
we'll
dying.
and we'll talk about it when we get to the Carrie stuff. But like, aside from how he moved the mouth and stuff or left it open a lot, and like, as far as like getting Barney to do more things physically, like he was great for that, like the juggling or the, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I think he was great for those kind of things, riding on the skates or, different stuff like that, which is dope. Don't forget the elephant in the room, Duncan Brandon taking over mid-season and Bob coming back to.
Yeah, we don't care about him.
Tree.
Bringing Chucky in to do some Barney stuff didn't really work well.
Hell yeah.
Okay, here we go. Should they have kept Duncan's voice in the Josh Maurice episodes, even though Bob looped those? Yeah. I think so. I think they should have just kept his voice there. Especially when they brought him in as like main voice after Bob left, even though they couldn't have foreseen that. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
regardless of how we feel about him, he did an all right Barney voice. If you compare it to someone like David Franks, who doesn't at all, he sounds like Barney with like a cold or COVID or something. Like I don't like. I think they should have left his voice on there.
Yeah. Jen is correct that he does sound a little off, particularly like in, like for example in Tremendous Trees where he goes tree, because that's such a Duncan kind of inflection. But yeah, just for consistency's sake, they should have kept it consistent because for the same reason that they brought Carol Farabee in when Julie was away, and then Julie Johnson came back and dubbed over those episodes. So yeah, just for consistency's sake, if anything, because if it's halfway through a season, like you're gonna notice. You're gonna notice, particularly if your Barney sounds like Chuck E. Cheese now for some reason.
Well, I guess in that regard, you can get dinos because their mouth articulation isn't as like.
Yeah.
So they had I'm sure she had an easier time being able to just speak how Baby Bop would deliver the line.
Right.
As long as she wasn't doing it when Baby Bop's head wasn't bobbing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree though. Like I think Duncan was fine. There was just times that, but see, for me, I didn't know that that's what he did previously until I got older. So I never was like, this sounds like Chuck E. Cheese, right? Because like it didn't matter. It didn't mean anything to me because I didn't know that fact that he was the same person. So I don't know. Jen says, what I'm saying is that I did notice, even as a little kid.
Oh, yeah, but it would have been even more, egregious if they actually had left Duncan's voice, like wholesale. Like would have been even.
I think Josh Martin is my second favorite Barney body actor. Josh Martin did a really good job at keeping up, but you can tell when it's him. But like, I feel like Josh was able to match it close enough to how David did it, that it's at some at points it's almost seamless. I also like that the very first shot he did. Yeah, I also like that the very first shot he did for an episode, they threw him on a skateboard and pushed him down a ramp. It's like, okay, this is what you're doing now.
Barney hazing.
Yeah. Go get him.
I think Josh was all right. He wasn't a favorite for me either. Like, and I don't know if it's just because he didn't do it enough, or what. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like in season 4, that's one reason why it's not one of my favorites, because I hated all the different people that like the different looks. Like Barney became extremely long at one point, throughout the season. Then he was more stubby. Like it was just a bunch of weird stuff happening. I don't know. I know
I'm jumping ahead here. Is it true that he was supposed to be the computer mouse?
I think wasn't it? He wasn't the voice, was it? Oh, like there was a rumor that he was supposed to be like a costumed character version, right? Right. Yeah, I don't know. I think I've heard that too, but I'm not sure. If the Barney body actors would come on our podcast and not ignore us, we could ask these kind of questions. But for some reason, we don't exist. To only the Barney body actor. Anyway.
Oh god.
Also, since we're talking about Murray, Dean sucked as Murray. Sorry, but like he was terrible. That book that he did.
Yeah. Virtually indistinguishable from his Barney, except slightly more stoned.
It's like, okay, we're doing this audiobook, but we don't want to pay any other actors. Well, we have the guy that plays Barney. Let's just
have him do it.
Or let's get the random guys that keep coming out claiming to be the original voice. Have you noticed that lately?
Is that video from 2016?
The game
with
show?
That guy in the red shirt?
Him and like some other person who's like, yeah, I did some work for the Barney show way back.
The Barney show. So you could literally just look it up.
You could watch the credits.
Like, who are you?
Or the guy they supposedly chose before Dean got on.
Well, wasn't it Tim Dever?
No, it was. I'm blinking on his name.
There was another guy before Dean.
Ken something.
So, I think you're right. Tim was like the voice, and then he left. But there's this guy who got on this podcast a couple years back and was like, when they were there was like a cattle call nationwide, casting for Barney, and they hired some guy, but he ended up leaving. And he was like, I almost moved my family to Dallas so that I could voice Barney, but then they chose somebody else.
But was that a real story though? Like I think I've heard that guy say that, but was that like a fact? Because remember there was a guy who showed up, and I don't know if this is the same guy, who was like, I also did the voice for Barney. And it's like, dude, no one's ever heard you ever.
Dude, who are you?
Yeah, like at what point did you do it? You know what I mean? Like,
it's all recorded.
Listen, I gotta go, but that guy is Ken Moskowitz. I just looked it up.
Yeah,
him. But yeah, I gotta go. But yeah, my vote is for All Mixed Up. That's my vote.
All right. You got it in there. I can't find the comment right now, but Isaiah said, oh, there it is. Hey, see you later, Crawligator.
All right. Bye, everyone.
See you later, Emmy. Thank you.
Bye, Emmy.
All right. So now that Emmy's gone,
Finally, now that she's gone,
we'll go ahead and bring in a Barney fan as our next co-host. No,
Ooh,
I'm just
look
kidding.
at that.
I'm just kidding.
That.
Look at that. Uh-oh. We're brothers. We're happy and
we're singing and we're colored. Give me a high five.
All we need now is Isaiah to come on in here. Or Brandon Smith. Or both of them. Anyway,
way. The other way. Yes. It's morphin' time.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on. We have all mixed up. Who wants to go next?
Could we talk about Scooter and Miss Etta and how they didn't get a black woman to play Miss Etta, even though the white man was clearly doing and rest in peace to Bryce Armstrong, but he was clearly doing an impression of a black grandma. It's just
he never did puppet work prior to that.
Well, neither one of them did. So, which was an interesting choice. You would think they would have looked for people who had experienced puppeteering, but they didn't.
I love those characters. I
particular,
really do.
They said he would like sit his anytime he would do like the puppetry, he would kind of like slightly like shove his hand down because I guess his hand would just get tired after a while. So they put like a table, like an apple box on his elbow, so he could like keep the.
Yeah.
Can we get some going? Let's get Maurice Scott. I love those characters. I love Scooter's voice specifically. I don't know what it is about Scooter's voice. I love those characters. They don't really do much, but they do enough. And
well, at least in season 4, season 5 and 6 and like the home videos that they were in, they seem to do a little bit more and have a little bit more purpose, at least to me. But season 4 definitely you can tell that they were new and they were just kind of putting them places. Like they were a lot of times just kind of watching what was happening, not really interacting with people much, but just kind of watching what was going on. Whereas later in the other seasons, they interacted a lot more.
That is true. The kids would be doing something, and then in the background, Scooter's just like, "That's pretty cool, dude." Not really. All right.
Well, they're more
watching them from the Airbnb treehouse, like half the show, peeking in the window, just watching.
This place is nice. I like the way that this place is. It doesn't make sense.
It's a lot of feng shui. It's very bombastic.
How did they do that?
Do you guys think and I know he would have been furious if they would have done this. Do you think it would have been overstuffed if they brought Twinken in to the series?
Yes, I don't think Twinken served a purpose.
Plus, he has like no character whatsoever.
There's nothing. Yeah, there's no reason for it. There's no reason. After they changed the movie so much, there was no reason for him to be there either.
No,
you know what I mean, like
I think it would ruin him for me.
Yeah, like what was your intent? Like you don't speak, so now we just have this baby that we have to carry around. All you do is like you moan all the time. And that's somehow you saying your name is Twinken. And Baby Bob calls you Twinklin, so like everyone's just confused on who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like
they confused his name like 5 times.
Barney, we gotta change Twinken's diaper. He never wore a diaper. What are you talking about? Gosh.
You know what's oh no, what do he has? What does he have?
It better not be the
It probably is.
Better not be the ugly one. Okay. Oh, what's the ugly Barney?
Oh God.
This could have been our future in an alternate reality.
Oh, Twinken, I love you so.
I love you, Twinken.
Goes back in time to 1997, sees Cheryl Leach, cuts one strand of hair off her hair, goes to present day, and it's just that Barney now.
Yeah, no, Twinken should not have been there.
Yeah. Before I know we're talking about the movie now, but we'll get back to it.
Well, we knew you would get there eventually.
I know.
If anyone,
fascinating, the person who voices him is like a well-known yeah, for real. What did you say, Twinken?
We blame what's his name? Is it what's his name? Steve Who's the idiot that directed it?
White.
No. That's why I said who's the idiot that directed it? Steve who?
Steve Gomer.
Yeah, and I said white.
These are the problems that you have when you have people who
Gomer.
have no idea what they're doing, handling them. That should have been figured out when they did that shot.
So,
They used two different names.
Cut. What did she just say? Whatever your name is.
So what does the script say? You know what I mean? Like,
What is
there's
the
only one
trademark
name
say?
that
They trademarked the name.
Yeah, for like that one.
they did, but they did a lot of toys that I didn't even realize they did.
Mm-hmm.
Like aside from that plush, they did the bigger plushes. They did the bath time plush. They did like the plastic, 4 different kinds of those. Like they did far more than I thought they did. They have one Barney that's holding it.
Yeah.
They thought bro was about to take off.
Right? Yeah.
Which is kind of like
this is a great idea.
Like, okay, you don't want you're going around doing press interviews saying, we don't want to we don't know we don't want to spoil the surprise of what's inside the egg because it's a surprise, and then you have like the merchandise come out
Already on shelves.
He's like, okay, well, he looks like a weird koala.
No, that's the baby that's in the barn. That's not actually what comes out of the egg. You got to watch the movie first. That's the child. That's the family's child. Thank you very much.
That's Sally in the movie.
I love how like he's just showing at will just everyone else's dreams. Like no one's asked you to like show us these dreams. Like you're just showing people's dreams. Like
this is what you want to be.
And Barney's dream is just fireworks. Apparently, like he's showing what my dream is. So what is it? Like we see this every time you come to life. Like what? Yeah. Steve Gomer went on a podcast and said the original script was too long. I love Steve White, but it'd be nice to hear more of Gomer's perspective. Well, he's definitely wrong. I talked to him. Hey, Steve Gomer, if you want to come onto the podcast, we can talk about what your purpose was to change things.
Didn't he want to show like the zippers on the suit?
Yeah, he did.
Like
because he thought it would be funny.
Yeah.
That's what Steve White said. Like he thought it'd be funny that you could see the zippers in certain shots. And he's like, well, the dinosaurs are supposed to be real to the kids. Like they're not supposed to. It would be a very different show if these kids knew it was some like grown people in these suits just running around with them, right? Like,
I feel like he knew
when they get lost in the parade. It's like, you guys, where's Maurice? I'm sorry, not Maurice. What was his name again? Barney. Where's he at?
I hate that in that movie. I hate when Barney talks to the apple or whatever it is, and just running around. Remember, like he runs by and they're like, "Oh, is it the apple?" Where Barney's running past them and they're just like, "Oh, Barney!" And he stops and he talks to him. He's like, "Oh, it's good to see you." Like, "Yeah, it's good to see you too." And then he just runs off again. It's like, what?
You meant like a legitimate apple?
No. That was left on the cutting room floor. That's one thing Steve didn't let get past.
It's all up to you. Just use your imagination,
dude. You want to see everything just be destroyed? Steve White would never do it. Steve White would never be on the stand. He doesn't even like talking about the guy.
He wasn't allowed on. I don't think he ever went to Canada.
Steve, no, I don't think that. I don't even. They wouldn't let him on set.
Yeah,
because of his disagreements with Steve. I can appreciate that perspective. I wanted to have the puppets have an existential crisis on Clubhouse. Did you really? I don't remember. It's hard for me to remember things that happened with Clubhouse, except for what's happening now.
Kerron, I can't wait till we film the Mr. K's Clubhouse movie and I direct it and ruin everything.
Yeah. Give me 6 years. You can start writing it now. We're producing it in about 5 years. After it goes through a bunch of changes.
They have Baxter's puppeteers stand up fully
with a shirt in the shower.
Yes.
Just so it would be funny.
This is not a Mr. K episode thing, but I thought it would be funny. Like, you guys remember like the episode of Fresh Prince where like the whole episode was them behind the scenes showing how they are in the dressing rooms and stuff. It clearly was still scripted a little bit. Like doing a Mr. K episode like that where like the camera just pans too far down and you see the puppeteers like, no, go put it back up.
Yeah.
Like, you just see different stuff like happening. Even if it's just for us, like it would be fun. Season 4, everybody.
Season 4.
yeah, season 4. All right. Let's move on. Who wants to go next?
Head, you can go.
Well, if you can see behind me, It's a bit harder with this setup, but like
Steven has
this-
an attitude in this season.
well, if you look at this episode, so this is EIEIO. If you look at this scene
Look at his
in the
face.
if you look at this scene in the episode, whoever is in BJ right now is just all up in his face, and it gets to a point where he's like, move, and they cut, but he's like shaking his head in his face. It's so funny. So my pick is this episode just because it's not even awful at all. It's a bunch of little things that happen in the beginning that just it pisses me off. First of all, the episode starts and they're sitting in the treehouse at this table and they have plates, right? And they have peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Whoever's in BJ, they're eating these peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and Barney's like, "Ooh, I wish I could have one." And then what's his name? Steven
Takes one.
Steven, yeah.
Steven's like, "Here you go, Barney." It's this big sandwich. Barney's like, "There's nothing I love more than a peanut butter jelly." And then BJ comes in, takes it out of his hand. He's like, "Thanks."
Yeah.
And Barney's like, "What the?" It looked like he's about to cry. He's like, "But that was mine." And then Kim's like, "Don't worry, Barney. I got you a sandwich." I'm like, "Well, no. This fool just came in and stole food out your hand. Didn't apologize. Didn't acknowledge it. Didn't do anything." And he's just like, "Man, I sure could use some milk for this food I stole." And it's like, what kind of, like nobody even acknowledges that he took it. I'm just like, okay, well that's strike
Dude,
one.
BJ is low key a thief. Like in the Hit era, like the "Let's Go to the Farm" video, he does the same thing. Like he eats all the food at the produce stand, which makes him have to go to the farm to get more. And then he just breaks in the song, and everybody's just staring at him. Like
That's probably one of the funniest scenes of the whole.
it was funny. It was funny as hell. But yeah, like he was just stealing things. Like he stole Baby Bob's box to make her dollhouse to make his fort. Like he just consistently stole stuff.
He's a menace. He's like, I sure could use some milk. And this is another thing that bothered me. And it's not even like a huge thing. I just didn't understand it. They're all sitting, there's like 5 of them, and they're all sitting at this table. They all have a plate, and they all have an empty drinking glass. Just empty, just sitting next to the plate. And they're like, I want milk too, but we just don't have any. And I'm like, well, okay, first of all, like a couple episodes ago, y'all had Steven just in the kitchen cooking up some lemonade for 20 minutes. He had the lemons, he had the ice, he had the water, the sugar. He was just sitting there and messing it up. You mean to tell me you got all this stuff in the fridge? You don't got no milk? And what kind of like
what kind of school are you running?
Yeah, like we can go to my grandparents' farm and get some milk. Like you can't go to a Food Lion. Like I was just sitting here thinking about all these things. I'm like, why do you need to go to a farm to get? And even when they get milk at the end of the episode, it's in like a little container like this for all 5 of them. And it's like, y'all are not gonna. I just think the episode was just. It wasn't horrible. It's just little teeny tiny things that just sort of irritated me a little bit. They went to Hannah's grandparents' house, and she was like, "Oh, hey guys, this is my grandmother." And she's like, "Oh, who are your friends?" And she's like, "This is my grandmother." As in, we know. Like she said it multiple times. Like, can you stop? And like, this episode just sort of wore me down. And it again, it's not horrible. It's the only one where I was like, I don't know what's going on. Everything else was like fine enough. I didn't really have any issues with a lot of the other episodes. I think season 4 is pretty solid.
I feel like with that one in particular, they were like, okay, we need something to pad out. We're on our last stretch, but we don't know what to do. Oh, I know. We haven't like done a farm type thing in a while. And we're about to, release a movie that kind of takes place on a farm. Let's do that. How do we get there? I don't care. Just do it.
Just do it. Yeah. It's the last one.
Yeah, I like this episode, but see, I always liked when I always liked when Barney and them went somewhere, right? Like so, I think that's also why I don't mind it because it was nice.
Off his hand. Happily.
He wasn't even there. That was the first time he showed
just
up.
Runs in.
Thanks. He says thanks too. Like he just stole it. He says thanks, dude. It's like that's one of the times I wish Barney got mad. I wish he got because he's clearly upset. It's mine.
He's like, hello, but I'm not sorry. Hello, I'm BJ, but I'm not sorry.
BJ, you all right?
Oh man.
I was gonna say all mixed up because that
Thanks.
also.
I appreciate it.
I also
Eagle green
wondered too,
menthols.
like what the purpose was, like if for that episode, if they just wanted to use like because like when it's time for counting, they also use that exact same farm set for those two stories.
Yeah.
I just think
I'm wondering if they were shot
Very
around
funny.
the same time or something, or like where it just, I don't know, where like it made sense for them to use it for something else. I don't know.
They'll be using these elaborate sets in these random episodes, and I think it's hilarious.
Like the kitchen set in
Macaroni.
waiting for Mr.
Yeah, waiting for
Macaroni,
Mr.
whatever his
Macaroni.
name is.
Let's go outside and make something for the mailman, and it's just huge, like movies, like bakery. Like, what?
I liked it though, because I think they were trying to play more on like the whole imagination idea of Barney and how like these things just could be there because you're pretending about them. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But they clearly had far more than like they clearly had a lot more money than they had before because they were just building
Just
stuff.
want it.
Bob, just build this for us, please. Like just do this. Just build this thing.
They were in that bakery for like 3 minutes in the beginning of the episode.
One
And that's the only other place. That's the only other place they went.
Like the whole music video sequence for no reason for colors all around. Even though it was kind of dope for that time period, like there was no reason for you guys to do a music video, but you just bust into this.
Some of that movie budget.
Man,
I think
they were
those
on
were
it.
just like slight jabs at Sesame Street because I think this season was
What we could do.
the second or third time they had the top ranking on PBS. So I guess they were just.
Do you like legitimately? Do you think part of the movie budget was part of that? Like Canada was like, "Hey, we know you got some episodes to finish. We're gonna Western Union you some money, and I don't know, just do like a bakery scene or something. I don't know, do something. We got all this money, we're not using it, so go for it. I don't know.
We're not using it.
Yeah, that's not what I meant to say.
We're too busy shoving New Balances into cow pies and losing plush dolls of our main character.
All right, Kaylin.
What?
It was a mixture between All Mixed Up and the pond episode. I don't like that one. Again, that's another one of their
pawn shop?
let's flaunt our money by shoving this
Massive pond on the
massive
playset.
wildlife, thing on the playground, just so we can. Like, I don't know.
That was a strange option too. Like,
yeah, and it's in all their like promo shots. You notice that?
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
same with like the sandbox in the building episode. It's like that never came up before.
maybe they were like just really proud of it or something. Because like, there's no reason for you guys to be taking so many pictures with this pond. Like,
yeah, that.
we're just excited
yeah.
about. Maybe they were just happy. Like, look at this pond we built.
Oh, I've never seen that photo before.
It's such a beautiful shot too, but it is just like
It's a nice shot, but it's like, dude,
Who's that kid, Curtis?
it's like
All in
it's like
there.
Curtis. Like, would it hurt you to just stand, buddy? Like, what's happening?
that set is huge.
Oh, I just imagine a scenario where he falls in, thinking that like the water's deep enough. Curtis, are you okay? But no,
There's clips of people falling. They think it's just like solid ground, just like a little water, and they sink their entire body.
Can we just talk about how pointless some of the stuff these fans put on Barney Wiki is? Like this. Trivia. The episode aired on Thanksgiving Day, the same day when the Barney balloon crashed at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade.
May he
It's
rest
like,
in peace.
so? Like,
They were right.
also, Barney wore these same feet that he wore in this episode. Like who cares?
He wore the same feet.
I like that boulder. That is a nice
It
boulder.
actually had a pretty good grade float. Whoever said that mentioned that, like the movie sort of, like the film, and anyway, yeah, for me it's all mixed up. I don't like that one.
It's filmed on the same day Barney was
Because they helped
tragically
deflate it. Lucy never appeared when Sean was wearing glasses. Curtis wears the same royal clothes that Derek previously wore in Magical Musical Adventure.
How would you remember? Like specifically?
And I'm sorry if you're the fan who put that on there. We're not making fun of you, but
Shame
just
on you.
stop.
No, shame on you.
No, just stop doing that.
Barney never looked at men once. Really?
Yeah. Barney's eyes didn't move side to side in any episodes with men.
Griff is orange, which is interesting because orange is my favorite color.
Adam and Gianna never appeared together. And they also didn't appear with Sandy Walper as Mother Goose.
Michael was never present whenever Carrie Stinson was on set.
Yeah.
Like, not even his actor's name.
Brian Epps is Carrie Stinson because they were never seen together on screen.
Out of everyone it could possibly been.
Oh man. Okay. So which one do you choose, Caitlin?
All mixed up.
All mixed up. All right.
Not because like just because of the terrible acting. It's just sorry, I thought I heard something. It's not just because of terrible acting. It's just like the subject matter of following directions. It's like, okay, I get it. Can we move on to something else that's more similar to what we're talking about? But following directions is what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, you know what? I agree. I'll just talk. My choice is also all mixed up. And it's absolutely because Maurice Scott sucks as Barney. There's no other reason. Like, yeah, you're right too. Like about the whole following directions thing. It's like, bro, you could like maybe you shouldn't. Clearly, Steven had became the Tina, right? Like he was whining about everything. It was his first day of school. It was him going to camp. It was him not being in the talent show. He can't make lemonade. Like me. He's on the football team, right? Like it's like, bro, clear. Like, dude, just go do something. Like, do something. And you're clearly older than everybody, but you just can't grow. So we just keep making you the baby for everything.
Hey, bro, Steven was he was making that lemonade. He was sweating bullets.
Dude, he was in there with it, dude.
Baby Bob came was like, "You all right? You need some help?" No, I got it.
Like he was stressed.
It's fascinating later on when all the kids become adults in season 6. It's like almost like no love.
I like how they just were like, they were just like, all right, man, yeah, you just go ahead and like you make the lemonade, but like make it in the treehouse. Just make it somewhere else so we can be in the school without you. Like we'll actually have fun and make ice cream. You make the lemonade.
Like, they literally went outside and was like, okay, let's do what Simon says, I guess. And he's just up in the treehouse by himself. Just like, I gotta do this.
Talking to birds. Like,
oh my god.
The birds helping you make lemonade somehow.
Hey Steven, what you doing? I'm trying to make this drink, Scooter. Yeah, dude. All right,
dude. And I just my choice is all mixed up just because of Maurice Scott's performance. Like he couldn't even make the clapping song look fun.
Oh god.
Now that you mention it, I want to when they were doing the clapping song, did you guys notice when he was like, all together now? Now it's your turn. And then none of the kids did it. Like they were all just like, but none of them were clapping. I screen recorded it because I was like, is there something wrong with the episode? Like they're not clapping.
Like what's happening here?
I always hate it when they never put any Foley. Whenever they do like Knickerbocker or the clappy song, they always use like Barney's actual like sound.
Like the mitten sounds.
It's kind of like ew. Well, not ew. It's like, we can't hear what he's doing.
Honestly, though, if they did put like actual human hand sounds for Barney, I feel like it would be more disturbing. Because his hands are not going to sound like that. But I don't know how they would realistically sound.
Well, I mean, he's technically like, well, I mean, he's plush, so it would just sound like like gloves clapping together.
Like a person beating a rug.
Yeah.
Probably like this.
Probably good. If that comes back in the new series, I feel like they're going to be stupid enough to actually give him like
real claps,
human sounding sound effects.
Yep. Human hand sounds. Even in the treehouse making mixed drinks.
Well, I knew that lemonade was good when it came out too. Mattel should sell that.
Man.
Steven's lemonade.
Can we also talk about like what we don't like and maybe some of the more better episodes? So like the Is Everybody Happy? I like that episode because for the first time in a while they actually show people getting not generally like pissed off at each other, but like angry enough in what's supposed to be like a glorious happy day.
Like actually showing feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
Other than just we're happy, and then like they handled feelings far better than they did in the beginning seasons for sure.
Right. So when Kim's like, "Oh, I can't put this streaming up because, well, I can't put it anyway because it's just me. So what was the point of me, trying to put this up anyway? Oh, I'm so frustrated that I'm going to be a terrible actor because I'm just so angry and I can't display anger through the camera. I wish someone could help me." And Barney's like, "All right, shut up. Here we go."
Yeah. Bro, Chip Noy took Baby Bop's head off when she knocked over that tower.
Literally.
He's like, "Are you kidding me?
Baby Bop, you messed it all up."
He was all aggressive.
And she's like, I'm sorry. He's like,
I'm happy right now.
I don't care if you're sorry or not. You did it. You cleaned it up. Barney's like, whoa.
Yeah, but I do like that they did allow them to have that emotion. Like, and that's clearly like how you can tell the adults who hated this show, they weren't actually watching the show. They just hated the character, right? Because a lot of the things that they would say they wish Barney did, they were doing to some extent. And so like, yeah, I don't know. I like that they started allowing them to have some type of emotion too. And actually like more than just BJ and Baby Bob hating each other. You know what I mean?
Chip's one of my favorite kids on the show. But unfortunately, he's, again, one of those who stayed longer than he needed to be.
He was already too tall to begin with.
Yeah, and like season 6.
He was already taller than everybody else.
An adult man.
And yeah, just there. Like they were like, if we had a Michael today, what would he look like? And they were like, all right, we'll get this kid.
That's him. Yeah.
And just brought him in. Yeah, he's around for season 6. And they understood he was way too old because they put him on crutches and then brought his little sister in. Like, like just to like almost replace him. Like
we're gonna sideline you.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right. Real quick.
That like.
Real quick. Go ahead, my bad.
No, I was gonna say they always.
Really.
Every single. It took a few years to. Took me a few years to. It took.
All right, no, real quick though. The link is available for you guys to vote. It's at the top of the YouTube, so click on it and start voting, if you will. All right, go ahead, Kaylin.
They always try to get that one like white kid that like consistently throughout the years. Like first it's Michael, then it's Chip, then it's Scott. Like they all had that kind of look. It's kind of like, do they always like kind of rely on that one thing, or it's just like, I'm not trying to be prejudiced or racist. I'm just saying.
Do you like Scott would have been the choice? Why do you think Scott?
He kind of has that look. Like he looks similar to to Michael. I guess you
Does
could
he?
say.
Who the hell's Scott? Let me see.
Scott is in season 7 here. I'll pull it up for you.
Oh.
7 and 8.
Does he?
Kinda
Do you
has to
think
look
so?
like. Yeah.
I mean, clearly you think so because you said it, but I'm just making sure like you actually believe it.
I mean, you just kind of look at him and be like, "Oh, that's supposed to be the first kid," but not really.
They did like have like a routine of casting the type of people, right? We have
Right.
the one white boy kid, we have the one
One
like
Asian.
alternate Asian, like Asian kind of character. We have the one black girl, the one black kid, right? Like the one Mexican kid. Like it's like they. Okay, and I'm pulling up Michael right now. Oh crap! Okay, I could kind of see it.
You can
You know that whole. Never mind. I'm not going to say it. I'll say it later. This is Scott.
Oh, that is Michael. That is discount Michael.
Discount Great Value Michael.
My
Target brand
Essentials Michael. Yeah.
Is that the first episode when they're introducing the idea bench? When it's all
sometimes it's good to sit down and think, like the idea chair. Come on,
whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
He sounded like them.
I don't know. Couldn't tell you. This is a terrible screen grab that they would put on here for him. Poor kid.
You couldn't
That's another
advance
episode I
one
hate.
frame further.
That's another episode you hated, you said?
Well, that's an episode that like remember we were.
You just
talking about,
always
like-
hated whenever they talked about culture. That wasn't your own.
No.
That's what it's starting to look like to me. I hate every time they talk about somebody else's culture. They have all these stupid tables with
That's
things
not
on
American.
it. What the hell is a gaucho? Why do they have bread shaped like the letter U?
That was the beginning stages of let's just dress up the park so we don't have to spend money to actually go somewhere.
Yeah. Well, no, dude, nah. Because that was a choice like that was intentionally made when they could have built like more set. They just chose not to. Same thing like season 3, right? Like seasons 9 and on, they didn't have a choice to build anything else. Like they just they had to just put up postcards, right? Like that just made sense because it was supposed to be like a fair in the park, I believe, kind of like season 3, where like you visit these different stations and you learn about these things. Like they weren't supposed to go to those places.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So like kind of like a mini festival you'd see at like
Yeah,
a city park. Okay.
which is why I think like the episode later, I think season 10, the arts episode kind of worked too because it was the same
Yeah.
thing. It was just people's art all around the park as opposed to the
Yeah,
neighborhood
yeah.
episode where they're walking around the neighborhood and they're in the park.
Yeah. That was it. Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Oh.
Put it on the wiki.
They're all different. They're all different people because they don't appear in the same thing.
Do you guys think they're gonna take some like liberties of like what they can imagine and where they can go in the new show? Obviously, they can because they had the advantage of like animation. But like, do you think?
Yeah,
they're
that's the one thing I think you can look forward to probably with it is like them going far more places than you ever would have seen them in live action because they don't have to build anything. You know, you just
Right.
generate it. So all their imagining and all that stuff is like far more expansive and actually like you can see them there because of the animation aspect of it, I think.
right?
I think that playground is like that they're supposed to be at like the hub for them to start and then everything else takes place elsewhere. You know what I mean?
Right. Sort of like the Backyardigans.
Yeah,
And
or
then
every
there's-
other animation show.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh god. As much as we bash it, I'm very interested in seeing what they do for the most part.
Well, I'm interested in the stream that happens right after it premieres. That's what I'm interested in.
Oh, that'd
Like
be so
our
cool.
next stream right afterwards. That's I don't really care about how they do it. I just want to, trash it. All right. Well, it seems like we should probably start ending this. Hedge is getting tired. He's yawning.
Yeah.
Steven's upset that you're yawning in the middle of us talking about things that we're.
Why are you yawning?
Like he's looking like Barney's eyes usually do, like just straight to the side for no reason.
Dude, you were right about it, like his problems, because
He always has problems.
Talent show. I've never performed a talent show before.
Well, and rightfully so. He's like a 6-year-old with stage fright, so that makes sense, right?
Right.
He's like, I've never been to summer camp. Where is a summer camp? Oh, I've never been to school before. Dude, you've been playing in this school for the past 2 years with us. Like, and you're far too old to be starting pre-K, so you had to have been in school. Like, I don't know what it's like to be in school.
I wish I had a bike like that, or whatever. That episode is.
I don't like my bike. I wish I had your bike.
All right.
Dude, he cried about everything.
Everything. Thank God he wasn't in the movie. Or any of the other kids, for that matter.
I like Robert. I think Robert was my favorite.
Robert was my favorite. Was one of my favorite characters of this series.
Mm-hmm.
This series of seasons, for sure. I look at all of these as like I look at seasons 1, 2, and 3. I look at them as all like, even though they're all Barney and Friends, I look at them all like different shows entirely. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 4 through 6, I think is its own thing. Mm-hmm. 7 to 9 is its own thing, and then if there was anything that came after 9. But like I think of them like as they're like, that's why it doesn't bother me so much with like the drastic change with season 7 of the costuming and the voices, because I don't see it as a continuation of the Barn. It has the same name, but to me, I feel that all of those was like a soft reboot of the thing that came before it. You know what I mean? So you can kind of go back to the basics and try to create your own kind of thing.
Which means that we're not allowed to get mad at Barney's World. It's gonna be the same thing.
Yeah.
Somebody clip that. Somebody clip it, and so we can play it at the beginning of the Barney's World stream whenever that happens.
Right. Yeah, I think that's what we should do. I think we talked about that. Like, we should stream when Barney's World premieres and watch it and get live reaction.
So whoever still has cable,
whoever still has cable,
6 a.m. to watch Cartoon Show, which is strangely on for like an hour and a half. So how are they going to fit that into
wait
time slot?
Wait. The stream the blog is an hour and a half.
Yeah. Cartoon Joe is an hour and a half.
That's
Cartoon
so
Network is like 6 hours, and then Adult Swim, they basically took over the whole entire channel because they started like 5.
They can't even. That's 3 episodes. It's not a blog.
Well, they're supposed to be like 11 minutes.
Yeah.
So they're going to be like really short regardless.
I guess that makes sense.
I mean, they're going back to what season 10 and all that was. Like those like half videos and probably something like in between and then another half. Let's see. 4 through 6 was pretty much shot continually for 3.5 years. Obviously, they took breaks, but between 20 episodes a year and way too many home videos, they went around.
Yeah, they did do a lot.
But the best home videos.
Is it? Absolutely.
The best home videos.
Adventure Bus. What will we share? Good day, good night. Everything else.
Sing and dance.
Beach party. Sing and dance.
Which I love. I was thinking about that the whole entire time I was in Florida this week.
All right.
Shows over to again.
Oh, that is not. Whoa.
You turn to Nickelodeon, and it's only SpongeBob the entire day. There's not a single other show.
And the Loud House.
One episode of the Loud House, and then everything is SpongeBob.
And a new Fairly Odd Parents show that's apparently pretty good.
And they won't put it on streaming.
I want to. Apparently, it's like set 30 years into the future, like from the last show.
Yeah, Poof is all grown up.
Poof is an adult.
It's really good,
like
and they won't put it on streaming at all, and I don't understand it.
Yeah,
it's like everyone's talking about it. Anyway. Season 4.
Did Hats Off to BJ win? That was the one that won last time.
Did
Yeah.
you give your favorite episode? Sorry, least favorite?
Yeah, it's all mixed up.
Gotcha.
Anybody? Elvis? All shook up? Okay. Screw it.
I like that episode where he showed up. It's my good friend Elvis.
Jen
I
said it's
know.
pretty much.
He showed up as a starfish in Colorful World. All right, folks.
Well,
Here we
hold on.
go.
Hold on very much.
Thank you very much.
We don't talk to him.
The starfish has left the building.
I feel like that's Dean. Like Dean doing a. Elvis
You think that was him?
Yeah. Jen said it's pretty much Bat Wheels and Bugs Bunny Builders over and over again. Thomas is never on. And the Sesame spinoff is never on. They don't even
got
care.
time. They don't
The
got
Sesame
time.
spinoff sucks.
What is
Okay,
this?
I'm not gonna do like the reveal with this one because there's no point. It's clearly the winner is all mixed up.
All mixed up.
Yeah, like
You voted
overwhelmingly.
for it?
Like I think 5 people voted for EIEIO, but everyone else said all mixed up.
Man, they voted quick.
Yeah, they did. Like they were on it, and no one did it. No one voted for more than one, which is great. You guys are learning.
We are.
You guys are learning. Absolutely.
We all are.
Good stuff. All right, man. It's been 2 hours. This was the longest stream. Now we're just gonna keep breaking it. By the time we get to like season 10, we'll be going for like 12 hours.
I was.
Like the global temperature.
Because that's how boring it's gonna be for us to get through it all.
Gosh, I've consistently said I'm excited to get through the hit entertainment years, but the more I think about, because sometimes I visualize the
How
seasons.
bad they are.
No, I visualize the seasons, and I see the season 1, 2, and 3 in my head, and they all look different because the set and cast. And then I'm picturing 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and everything in my head is exactly the same. Just like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, nothing.
got-
It doesn't change at all. Yeah.
Before we get out of here, we forgot to mention in the. I don't know if you want to cover this or not. It's still sort of like speculation. But Funko might be revealing.
Oh, yeah.
Barney and Baby Bop.
Barney and Baby Bop,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Comic-Con?
possibly.
next year.
Yep.
No, like actually, like at Comic-Con?
No.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
like an insider said it on Instagram about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
They're like,
I
well,
think
nothing's
he's been,
official yet.
like, pretty right about like all the stuff that he says is going to drop, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It's about time. But as we know, it's just going to be that like unless they're trying to get like the nostalgia side of it where they use the classic Barney design, which I hope they do.
It won't.
Otherwise, it's going to be that new thing, especially if it's next year.
I don't think so. I think they're pining, like you said, they're pining for more nostalgia.
You think so?
But yeah. If anything, it's probably going to be the hit Barney with the same.
Yeah, they're going to use the Chinese Barney plush as a reference. We thought it was real.
I'm so glad to be part of the Funko Pop family.
Are you mocking
Right.
him?
Right? I hope that is how the voice sounds of Barney role. This is unrelated. And this was like a while back too. Do you guys remember there was some? I don't know if it was like a radio show. It was some event or show or whatever, and they posted on Instagram. They were like, "Coming." They were like, "On our next episode, we have Baby Bop," and it was like a photo of Baby Bop from like the early like lyric years. And then I remember people, I don't know if it got posted to History Fans, but people were like, what is this? I don't know if it ever happened, but like I remember a lot of people were messaging me. And this might have been like last year. It must have been last year, maybe. And I just got really I don't know if it ever happened. Because it was literally just like, we have Baby Bop coming, guys. You guys excited? And it wasn't like a kids entertainment thing. It was like an adult like show. So I don't know if anyone remembers that.
I do remember that. Was that last year?
That's what I'm saying. I think it was last year, but like I don't know what came of that, if anything did.
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you guys think they would ever pull out the little dino costumes for like social media stuff?
No.
Or at this point it's just like, no, Barney's like the main moneymaker.
I don't think they will.
I feel like if they kept up the train that they had with social media and keeping it ramping up, maybe. But
But since
after they did it and stopped, I don't think it's even a possibility.
Dude, they would. I mean, I think it would do really well if they even tried to put them like back in the parades and stuff. You know what I mean?
Well,
Oh,
it's still active because Duke, the child that Andrew has
Yeah.
been gifting Barney things to, they commented under like a video, like he
Okay,
had
in
a
a suit.
like a knockoff like Barney costume that fit like a child,
Uh-huh.
and they commented, it was like, oh, ha ha ha.
They said,
He was like,
"Lawyer
wait,
up."
Yeah.
ha ha ha, that's so cute. We'll see you in court.
Yeah.
Litigation.
Yeah. All right, guys. I don't know what more we can talk about with this thing. All mixed up is the one. So right now, what we have on our list so far is Rock with Barney, Hop to It, My Favorite Things, Hats Off to BJ, and now All Mixed Up.
That's
That's
good
where we're
variety.
at. Yeah, it is a good variety. It's going to be interesting when we have to start like pitting the rest of like against each other.
Mm.
Like we have to decide between Rock with Barney or Hop to It.
Oh, Rock with Barney will always win at the worst. I don't. That's the one
You
I
think
would
so?
never. I will never put Rock with Barney, and that would put me to sleep.
It's just gonna be Rock with Barney and Pistachio as like the final team.
Crunchy nuts.
I still get.
speaking of, look at this one. I got this today. Thought this was cool.
Oh, look at that!
Peep that. 92.
Anything from 92 and 93, I always pine for because it's such a good aesthetic. What are his arms doing?
Like I think he's just like hugging his face.
That's not I don't like that art. Stinks. I see. I get it now. Okay, I
It's the
couldn't
equivalent
tell.
of
He's doing the Maurice Scott.
David Joyner would do that sometimes, like a lot. David Joyner would do that a lot in season 1. You always see him like this all the time. But Maurice took it to a new
So
level.
much so that when we would act it out, we just naturally do this. For some reason, like our arms are just tired, and we're 3-year-olds just holding them there because Barney's doing it.
When in reality he's not. It's just how he's born.
Yeah, we're just making fun of his small arms.
This is what you look like.
when you guys would like reenact episodes, how would you make Barney come to life?
You said what now?
When you were like reenact episodes, how would you make Barney come to life?
I would jump off of things like this.
Yeah, I would too.
Like I would literally sit like this, and then I would jump.
Yeah, I was about to say I did it once when I was younger in our family's like computer room, and I was on the computer chair, which clearly rolls, and I jumped and it shot the chair back. It was so loud.
I would
Dude,
literally
my favorite reenactment that I like to do, like of Barney coming to life, was from the fairy tale one they did with Stella, Once Upon a Time, because he like when he comes to life, he does a 360 at the same time. You know what I mean? So like that was always my favorite one to do. But like I'd sit on things, or like in the later years, for some reason, I tried to match the doll all the way. So like I would try to keep my feet, because you know usually when you squat down, like you're on your tippy toes. I would try to keep my feet flat, like on the ground, and then jump up from there. But yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. I'd sit on things and leap off whatever I was on. It's so funny how like we all have like the same experience. Like, we're all just weird kids just jumping off of things.
I would like pretend to be the camera, like zooming in as. So I would like make the sound effects like with my mouth, and then I would grab the doll, throw it, so we won't be in the same location.
Dude, I used to do that too. Like in some of the later years, also, I would take the
like,
doll and
"Whoa!"
jump with it, and just fling it wherever it ended up.
There are times in my life where I think back to different moments, and I I think back to when I would pretend to be the doll, just sitting in a computer chair, and just I wish I had like an overhead view of myself, just like just completely silent, just me sitting in.
And you remember how dedicated you were when like it took Barney forever to come to life, and you're just just waiting
for like 3 or 4 minutes, just sitting in.
Dude, like for things like talent show, I used to put like a box on my head and everything, just to be like, because he with a box on his head. Yeah.
Then someone opens the door.
Like, it's hilarious thinking back at the closing shot. So like I would sit it. So I would have like a basket, and I would flip it over to make it look like a tree stump. So I'd put the doll on there. I don't know what made me spark it. I would make the sound effect with my mouth, but like I would wink at the at the direction of where the eye was.
Oh man, gosh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious, dude.
I tried when I was little, trying to make the coming to life effect with like multiple pieces of construction paper. I just gave up because like this is way too many like sparkles.
Wait,
you're just throwing paper around the room every time. Kaylin, what is all this paper doing on the ground? It's making Barney come to life. I came to life.
Like, what specifically were you trying to make it look like? Because it's animated. Like, what were you trying?
Like the actual like the animate like the stream.
That's hilarious, dude.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I can't.
I try to like reenact the Christmas episodes.
Dude, so I reenacted like everything.
Pieces of tissue paper.
Man, that brings back so many memories.
Like when they moved to like the park, like my grandma had like this little Tykes like couch, right? And so like I would take like a box and put it in front. So anytime they walked up to the caboose, I would like stand up onto like the couch thing and pretend I'm going into the caboose. Then I would walk back down the stairs when they're inside. Like, like I was just all over the playroom, dude.
Anytime I would like walk up to the treehouse, we had like a wooden coffee table next to the a couch leading to like the place where I had all my like toys, and we had like a giant grand piano. So then next to we had like a bar. So I would walk on the coffee table onto the couch on another coffee table. I'm like, oh, we're in the treehouse now.
That's sweet, dude. It's just the bless their heart, the people that do play-alongs. Like that really does like that's what it was like growing up. I remember back then I didn't know. Looking up Barney in the Backyard Gang, I would find them on like Daily Motion and stuff, not YouTube, but like so. Like anytime I'd find something new, I'd be like, "Oh, that's Backyard Gang," and it would just be me as a kid. Like when the intro comes on, and it's just me in the room, just like doing like the logo thing, just. It's like, who am I waving at? That's wild.
That's funny. That's hilarious. All right, man. I think that's it. I think we're good.
No one's even like. Everybody's talking about other stuff.
They're talking about like, why'd they change BJ's name to Billy?
Nothing we just said mattered.
Well, the chart shows that the word BJ to some people means.
All right, and that's our show. It was lots of fun. And you know what? Oh, hey, you wanted to show this, Hedge?
In crown of queen,
oh yeah.
Behold the tree. Now that's the funniest thing I ever saw. The funniest thing.
He was just.
That's the funniest thing I ever saw. And what's messed up is, dude, that's actually a pretty nice tree costume. Like it's actually a kind of decent. Like I would say that's probably a bombastic like tree costume.
Bombastic.
And he was there long enough to hear that he was upset that people were laughing at him. And so he did it again and just like
Man.
It's a wonder why Scooter didn't get that plush that they were planning.
Right. It's too mean.
When you look up depression, you just see Curtis dressed as a tree.
Bro hated that tree.
Man. No, for real. All right, guys. All Mixed Up was the choice today. I think we'll talk about it, but we might only do one stream next month. You'll follow us. If you don't follow us yet, we're on Barney History Fans on Facebook, Spots of Love Podcast on Instagram, Hedge on Stage on Instagram, T River Tributes on Instagram. Follow us.
Hedge Museum Stage on Instagram.
Hedge Museum Stage on Instagram. Sorry. Yes. Follow us there. I'll announce when we're going to actually do the next one, where we start looking at season 5. But yeah.
I'm sorry. So somebody spells scooter with a D, and I don't know why that's funny to me.
Because that's how we pronounce it. Damn Americans, scooter. It's not scooter. It's scooter.
It's scooter.
Korean Scooter.
It's Scooter.
What's the name of the show? It's like a totally different name. It's like a weird. It's like a mixture between him and Miss Etta, the Korean version.
Oh, it's something. Yeah, somebody said it way earlier today. I don't remember what the name was. Someone said it earlier though. And I just ignored it because we weren't even talking about the Korean stuff. But yeah, I don't remember the name. Anyway, all right, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next stream. Peace.